fact, I was supposed to be on an airplane right now to leave, and but I felt I really didn't want to leave yet. We don't really get to talk to the contestants because my co-judge won't let me. During the process, we have to stay away. We can't, fraternize and talk, and really, you're the people we're here for. You're the people we're here to meet, but yet we can't really get to meet you because you're competing and we're judging. I judge a lot of pageants. I mean, I can't even, oh gosh, I can't even name all the different types, but there's some very large ones and well-known ones, and there was nothing like this one. I've never judged anything close to like this. A lot of the ones I've judged have younger kids in it. They haven't really done much, but they're out there competing and looking good. And then you have some of the older ones that, people want that title to help get ahead in their business or to be noticed more. But you don't really get the kind of paperwork that we got on this. This was an incredible book that was sent to us, and I would start to read each person's story, and you took us into your lives. I mean, usually it's just I like this or I belong to this organization, but there's not that personal thing of your journey and things that you've been through. And it was extremely touching and emotional, and that's not what I'm used to judging on. I'm used to judging, does that gown look right, and is the person walking right, and stuff. But here it changed. Here it was more about things that people have come through and done and have accomplished, and in very difficult times, and it's almost like a book of hope. Reading each story was like, like a book called, there used to be a book called Profiles in Courage. It was like things, and people need to see that things can be done, that in the worst desperation, the worst situations, people can find a way not only to get through it, but to excel on the other side. And knowing the pageant world quite well, there is not a format like this that I've seen or heard of or was exposed to. I'm not a crier. I don't really tear up and get overly emotional in a lot of things. But my co-judge will tell you I was having a rough time at times because I was getting tears in my eyes listening and watching the strength that I saw in front of me, and that strength was incredible. And people need examples to follow. They need role models. They need to know it can be done. And the people in this room are the role models. It's not so much, winning's great, titles are great, but people can do things without titles. Most of the people in here have done things without titles. When I read what you've done, and I pretty much Googled every single person in here to see, I found so much more than what was written because you were limited in space and what you could talk about. But I saw even more depth to each person. And again, in a small time, you'd want to hear everything they could do, but you'd be surprised on what each person in this room is capable of doing beyond what we have seen in just that book, in those paragraphs. So to me, I'm in a business that, we don't produce a lot of programming, but we do produce some shows, but we represent people on the shows. But we're always dealing with networks that are looking for content, and the content's usually stories. It's usually stories about people and how they've gotten through things, and interesting stories that can improve other people's lives. And there's a lot of channels that deal with that. So the title helps get through some doors, but you don't need the title, necessarily to accomplish what you want. And I think in here, when I look back at a lot of what people were doing, they were doing just fine with their causes, and they didn't have a title on their head. But to get together in an organization like this and to see others do it, and you're the people that can go out and help support other people who are going through similar situations, and it doesn't even have to be a bad situation. It can just be a situation where you're giving somebody hope and courage to move forward. That's something that's needed. That's something that other people need to see, and the word needs to be spread more, and there's not enough of that. And I think that there's quite a few, what I found interesting was there are quite a few issues that were not issues that are really discussed in this country very much, which is interesting, in itself, because they're important. And so not only did I see, what maybe some situations and strength and perseverance and good stories of things that maybe I've known about, but I saw a lot of issues that I was not even aware about as much as I should be, and need to be, actually supported more and known more. And I think there's a market for that. And I think there's people that will watch that. I think there are people that want to see, hey, it's rough for me right now. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? And they see other people have done it, and they wonder. And a few people had me ask them, how did you do this? How did you find that strength? How did you, where did that come from? When you're down and out and everything looks so bad. And other people need to see that too, because that inspires them. What we have in this room is a lot of people who inspire people. And that's different than any pageant I've been in. People don't go in there to inspire people. They go in there to win. And they want to validate or to have that crown and just be, I won. But this wasn't about that to me. This was about inspiration. This was about individual, expression. The one thing I loved about, parts of this pageant were the outfits. I enjoyed that so much because, there is no right or wrong. There's expression. And you don't ever want to make people conform and all wear the same shirt and suits. And people can show with colors and styles. And we saw that from judging. It was remarkable. And again, there is not really anything out there that I see at, a level where people, and maybe it's the group in this room that was very expressionable and out of the box a little bit and showing what they could do and who they really were. But that's what we want to see in our world. We want to see real people. We don't want to see the person that comes to a convention and, kind of looks the way they're supposed to look and says what they're supposed to say and wears the safe, and I kind of noticed that in the instructions because I saw you kind of were being encouraged not to do that. And I kept reading that going, she's really pushing it out. And people followed it. But that was what was enjoyable, to see individuals, because, you see the normal thing every day. And the only part I wish somehow we could have changed was, yeah, we're judges. You're coming in the room and you're going to kind of now you're on stage. When I saw you guys on the boat, I had more fun watching you on the boat getting soaked and laughing because, we work with people. We want to work with people who smile and have fun. And yes, there's serious issues. We can all deal with them too. But we never really get to see the personalities of the people because they're competing and they're trying to be the person they want us to see for the event. But who you are is what we wanted to see, and we did get to see that through different parts of this pageant, because who you are is what's really important to us, and that's really what's important to other people, and that's something that I felt very enlightened by this pageant. I called home, I talked to my wife, I said, I've judged hundreds of pageants at all levels. This is different. This is different. And this is something that can benefit people, not just a competition. This is something, even the networks and friends that you make in this room and support groups, it's a different level than just having a friend that you met at a pageant you stay in touch with. There were stories, accomplishments, and those books, I'm almost going to cherish the book that I have because those are inspirational stories in there. And those are stories that are real, and they're stories of success. And they're stories of not only success for yourself, but the fact that you guys have gone on to actually help other people. You not only got through issues of your own, but have gone forward and had time and effort to help other people in situations is really amazing. And so I would put a crown on everybody's head in here if I could.
100% agree.
I've been in this situation a lot lot of times, and I'm like, why do we have to pick one? I think they're all winners, and I don't say that to make people happy. I mean,
That's you.
my phone should be
You're
off.
buttering.
You're buttering.
Yeah.
This is Cayman Islands, yeah. Okay. She needs to stop. She needs to call me 8 times less days. But the thing is that, and again, she's Cayman Islands. I deal very international. I have people all over the world, but that's rewarding. And because not everything is what we see in our own neighborhoods. People need to expand their thought, and a pageant like this allows for that. What has been developed is amazing. And I agree, it does take growing an organization. But if people understood what this organization really provides, just, in its title, which was surprising to me because most titles are about beauty. They're very clear pageant, and this is magnificent woman. There is not even the title relates to what normal pageants relate to. So to me, everybody in here that wants to do what they want to do, the crown isn't what makes it happen. It can help, of course, but you make it happen, and you're going to make it happen with or without a crown. And there are other people that can help. I know my company has a lot of, it gives a lot of boost to people. Just as much as winning a crown, if somebody is represented by certain companies, they'll get their voice listened to, and not just my company, but other companies. So there are other ways to go about it. There's no reason, to walk out and think, okay, I didn't get the crown, so now it's going to be harder for me. No, there are other ways. There's always other ways and other things that will make you important. But I think, through a competition, it brings you together, and I think from each other, you're going to get a lot of support. I love the fact that, they're opening up a beauty section, and Michelle's like incredible, and I feel that in this room, it's a small group, but the quality is high. I've gone to things with thousands of people and found nobody that I'm interested in. Nobody. In this room, I purposely canceled my flight, moved it to 5 o'clock, because there's people here I want to be able to talk to. And it didn't make sense to fly home and not be able to talk to them, because you're women of substance too. And that's why that word in there, substance. You're women who can make a change, a difference. And there are not a lot of people in this world interested in making a difference. I meet a lot of people, self-absorbed, they're just happy being whoever they are, and thinking highly of themselves and not really helping anybody or making a difference. And I think that's what I see here. I see people who will make a difference in other people's lives, their own, others, but also people who are freer than most people in expression. And I think that's something that needs to be encouraged, because I really don't like conformity. I feel it's limiting. I think you're never going to do something special if you're just doing what everybody else has done. So I'm thankful that this pageant came about. I'm thankful for every single person in here, because I thoroughly enjoy every aspect of this. It couldn't have been too long. I would have shoot as long. Everybody was amazing, and this is going to make an impression on me personally. So just judging it had an impact. So you can imagine walking out into your countries and into your fields that you're trying to do, how much impact you're going to do. And to me, crowns are on your head. They've always been there, and they will continue to be there. So, it's not the crown that identifies you. You identify you. It's not the crown that validates you. You validate you. And I see a lot of validated people in here who can do a lot of great things. And I'd much rather spend time here than with people who just enter contests to win. And, they just put the crown on the shelf with the other ones they had. And it means nothing to them, and they're going to contribute nothing to this world. So this was a wonderful experience for me. And I'm going to be very supportive of this organization, and I'm going to do my best to help the people that are in here accomplish what they want to accomplish. Doesn't mean we'll be successful, but we'll try, you know? And we'll come up with some unique ideas and some clever things to help get people to where they want to get to. But if you do, there's always ways to do it, you know? And you just be persistent and stick to what you believe. But I have to thank Stephanie, Sydney, everybody involved. You know, I bumped into some of my good friends here who we meet at a lot of pageants, and I'm sure they know exactly what I'm talking about, because I judged probably the most famous ones out there. And I walked away with a winner, but that winner hasn't done anything. The winner has a platform that they're gonna do, maybe. You know? But when I went in and looked at your backgrounds, you girls are doing it. It wasn't like the crown wasn't on your head and you were getting it done. So obviously you can get it done. But what you are is a message. And what this organization is a message of empowerment. And I think that's what we have to understand, is that this organization can make a difference in the world. It's not just a pageant. And I think, you know, it's called a pageant, but it's not. It's really a place to create active people and help active people do good things in this world. And that's important. That's something that actually means something for real. So I thank you very much. I think every single person